All right, everyone, before I get started, I thought I would give you a little story because I was asked maybe 5 times in this event on how I ended up in Vietnam. So, okay, so why is this American over here, working for a UAE and in Vietnam? So, I've been in either automotive business or motorcycle business for 38 years, working in a dealership setting, and majority of it has, in the last half, has been in motorcycles. And in 2014, I met a girl, and why are you laughing? It's already a girl, always a girl, right? And after a period of time, she got lung cancer. And I quit my job. I took care of her until she passed away. And she was Vietnamese and American, but she had moved from Vietnam when she was 2 years old. Her dad was in the South Vietnamese Air Force. American Air Force guy came, said, hey, get your family, get to USA, you got 20 minutes and get on a boat, right? So anyways, after she passed away, before she passed away, she really wanted to come back to Vietnam. And so if you're close to somebody that's going to die in their younger, especially, they always want to make plans. If you make plans, and maybe, you're going to, if we plan it, then it's going to happen, right? So we planned this trip, and unfortunately it didn't happen for her, but after she passed away, I had about 3 months, and I decided to go ahead and I would take that trip. So I went to Vietnam. I was able to travel throughout the country for about 15 days, and I thought, wow, this place is just so cool, just so different from where I've been living in US, of course. I moved back to America. I said, okay, time to get a job again. So I was looking around, and I could get a job as a general manager of a Chevy dealership, and I just wasn't feeling it. So I thought, what if I email some people in Vietnam? What if I went to work in Vietnam? I had no bills. I had nothing, no commitment holding me. I thought, Mercedes-Benz had a nice looking dealership when I drove by, I saw, and then I saw a Harley dealership. So I fired off 2 emails, Mercedes and Harley. 10 minutes before I sent the email to Harley-Davidson, the manager resigned. The door opened up for me. So I said, okay, I'll come for 1 year, just to tell grandkids, oh, I lived in Vietnam at one point. So I moved there, committed there to be a sales manager. I haven't been a sales manager for at that time, it was 15 years ago last time I was a sales manager. But I took the job, and it was just fun. It was interesting. And the guy I went to work for actually ended up quitting 4 months later, and then I was able to take over for him in running the operation there for the family. And then since then, I took it from 2 dealerships. We have 8 dealerships now. We represent Harley-Davidson, Triumph, and KTM. And it's been a blast, and I'm very happy to live in Vietnam, and I'm happy to experience all the challenges. It's never boring. Now, I tell that story, it will link to this, I promise you, okay? All right, so we're going to talk about leads, how we get leads, then what we do with the leads to help generate deals, all right? So how many of you, who can raise their hand and tell me your average watch time of a marketing video that you put out on Facebook, let's say? Does anybody know?
45 seconds.
How much?
Is that 45 seconds?
45 seconds. 45 seconds, you would be the man. It would be naked chicks for sure at 45 seconds.
We're pretty loose.
Okay. Typically, your content's watched for 3 seconds on average. So what you put out there, you only have a very short attention span. Something that is very compelling, you might get to 8 seconds. So as your dealers or yourself, if you're like me, you want to make sure that your content, the message is coming across within 8 seconds. There can't be any, music playing, preluded things. It's not getting watched, especially if you're boosting it. So typically the algorithms of Facebook, Instagram, everybody, it's based off of you know, the algorithms they have set up, and there's no room for long intros, and you're just not going to get it watched. Now, how do you target your ads? So we spend a lot of money on like Facebook boosts, and how do you know where you're going to send it to? You can get very surgical based off of where people live, how old they are, the demographics of those people. Does anybody boil that down? Okay, so you want to write this down. So there's something from Google called Looker Studio. Anybody familiar with Looker Studio? Okay, Looker Studio is free. It's from Google. You can download your customer information, and it can give you heat maps on where your customers are by brand, by model. It can give you your age demographics, how old your customers are, your breakdown between male and female. So this is how we, sorry Kays, I touched your screen. This is how we decide on where we're going to boost ads and who we're going to boost to. So for instance, we can look, and if we have a specific model that we're trying to push, we can go back and look at, you know, our own competing models of where in the area, where in town, and we can drill it down to the neighborhood to direct the boost with social media. Okay, now what do you do when you get the leads, right? So we have a BDC, which is called the Business Development Center. Anyone familiar with that term? So this is something that I learned from car business a long time ago, and we've implemented this, you know, almost in everywhere I've worked over the last 20 years. A BDC team is somebody that is a team that their main purpose is to get a hold of somebody very quickly and help them, guide them to get an appointment into the dealership so they can do a test ride, and then the sales staff can close the deal. All of our incoming leads from every source, which is, you know, from Google, TikTok, Instagram, emails, hotline, phone calls, all come into the BDC team. So my general sales team, they're not getting those. They're not getting those leads. So they're coming into our BDC team, and their job is to be extremely fast to getting a response back. The BDC team works from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. That's the majority of the time frame we're getting the majority of the leads, which matches up with our marketing department. So we make sure when we do boost things and we do pay money to get the message across, the BDC team is working, so they can get that. Now, the number one job for the BDC team is to get the customer to the dealership. They're not trying to sell anybody anything. They answer the questions, but in order to get customer to the store, you have to start a conversation. So what we qualify a lead is anyone that asks us a question. How late are you open? Does it come in red? You know, do you have finance? Anything that comes in is a question. And we handle about 4,000 leads on average a month. If there's a holiday, if people are off work, skyrockets. So typically, you know, there's a holiday, okay, Christmas, everyone's off, the staff's off. That's when you probably have an opportunity to have way more leads. So people have their time. They have time to look at it, and usually people don't have the staff to handle that during holiday season. And the staff takes it off too, and you guys miss a really good opportunity. Now, how much time do you think you need to get back to a lead before you lose their attention? Anybody got a suggestion?
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
3 hours.
Our target is 1 minute during those hours. Now, I got this from Joe at Beyond Creative. They set up BDCs, and they have a commercial BDC where you can hire them to actually run everything. We're trying to start conversations, okay? Because a conversation will lead you to an appointment. Within the first minute, if you respond to them, you have a 391% chance of creating a conversation with the customer. If you wait 3 minutes, it's 98. If you wait a day, it's 17%. Basically, your chances of hearing back from them are very, very slim. So the speed to lead is very crucial. And this is why I can't trust this with my salespeople. They're busy, they're doing something. I need somebody that's just waiting right then and now to be able to respond to a customer, to start a conversation with them, to be able to get an opportunity to get them in the dealerships. Now, calling customers back or attempting to get a hold of somebody, let's say it took you 1 day to get back to somebody, all right? And if you call them, this is based on Beyond Creative's thousands and thousands of leads they deal with every month. To get a hold of them, you're gonna have to call 4, 5, 6 times. The average sales guy is gonna call once, maybe. So it takes a lot more effort to get there if you're not getting it really quick to get a hold of people. If you think about it yourself, you may send an inquiry on something, and then you get busy and you put the phone down and you go off. Your wife's saying, "Hey, you gonna wash these dishes?" Or "Wow, okay, gonna go wash the dishes," and then you end up losing the opportunity here. So the speed to lead is very, 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 very critical. Now, the BDC role for us is handle inquiries very quickly. They get input into our CRM system if we get a conversation started. In Vietnam, it's a two-wheel culture. So there's a million people that want to have our product, they just can't obtain it. So the BDC team, it's their job to just try to help them solve problems. How can they help them, maybe get them to the right place to get a loan on a bike, or try to match up where the customer lives to get him to the right dealership, to push them to the right store. So after we input to the CRM system and they set the appointments with the sales managers, then the BDC team follows up with them again, make sure they have directions to the dealership, make sure they know where they're going, who they're meeting, and whatnot. Now, 79% of customers expect a response with you within 24 hours. And a lot of times, staff, in America, there are a lot of dealers close Sunday, Monday. And then someone sends you a request on Friday, and then your sales guys show up on Monday, and by the time they get their coffee and breakfast and all that, I mean, it's almost 3 days till someone's getting back. Why we have a BDC team obviously is because I want to capitalize on all the money we spend for digital marketing. And so for me, I need to have a dedicated team to do that. It also lightens the workload for the sales staff, but actually this also comes full circle, and it really pushes them to go get their own leads. So they're not just dependent on what the dealership, what we get to, what we boost, what we get for our leads, we distribute them, but it makes the sales guys have to figure out how they're going to get their own leads also. Obviously, we want to have customer satisfaction. We get a hold of people right away, and better conversations, getting that conversation going. And this is most of the time you will see your staff will respond to a question with just the answer, and that's it. Instead, we try to build rapport with customers. Have you been to the dealership before? What do you ride now? You start working that conversation. Now, in converting leads, we use a lot of video while speaking to the customers. So the customer sends a lead, our staff sends a video, they just hold their phone up, record, "Hey Joe, thanks for asking me this question. My name is," just so you know who you're working with, "I'm a real person," and we make it very personable right away, and that also helps get our conversations rolling. And of course, we send them a lot of videos, pictures, and whatnot of the product that they're asking about. And this is probably one of the big keys on getting more people engaged through the way we're sending, if they're going through TikTok messaging or Facebook Messenger or whatnot. A tip for you, And I got Rosie the Riveter here, which probably no one in this room knows who this is, but is females do a way better job than guys do typically in this job, in this role. So my BDC team is 100% girls, and they tend to be more introverted, which introverted people do very well at the BDC role. They're not comfortable that much talking to people face to face, but they'll be very, very good in a role like this. For me in Vietnam, girls tend to work way harder than boys do. That might be part of why it works good for me. But I've also in America, I've seen typically some of the best BDC people we had were actually females. They're more detail oriented. They're less distracted for whatever reason, and it helps out a lot. So that's how we work on getting the leads, processing the leads, and then pushing people to get to the dealership. Last thing, if you do implement a BDC for yourself, here's some critical things you have to really do. First, you really have to have very tight processes, and you have to build the scripts for your people so they will know exactly what to say to help them get through the questions that they get in their workflow. Also, they have to have some definite product knowledge. So BDC members, they join the morning sales meeting every day. They know what's happening in the dealership. They know what's going on. Any new product we have, they do the training on that just like a salesperson would. You have to be committed to it. A lot of people start this BDC thing and then they listen to salespeople complain and they listen to sales managers complain, and next thing you know, it kind of goes away. You have to be fully committed, and after the pain process of taking this from your sales staff, after that subsides, then they realize, oh, this is actually okay.
What would typically be the complaint?
That they don't have the leads. You know, it's not their responsibility more than they're missing out. You know, and then there's this some way somehow Joe's getting all the good leads and I'm getting nothing, and that type of thing happens at first. And then you got to continuously be changing. You know, for us, adding video was something that we started about a year ago, and we got to continually find ways to engage with the customers and get them to listen and slow down enough to get them into the dealer. Now, in the industry right now, in Powersports industry, so motorcycle industry also, about 30% of the incoming leads right now are never even talked to. So my challenge for you guys would be is to send a lead right now to your team, to some one of your dealers, and see how long it takes to get back to you. See if somebody answers, and then if they did, how did they respond? Because your digital showroom is actually more important now than your physical showroom. And then how is one supervisor of that 7. Mr. Look is a divisional manager for Triumph. His responsibility is to spend 2 hours in the BDC room every week, going through the leads, making sure the team is doing what we expect, answering questions. The BDC supervisor is also there to help the staff. So Jen here is working in BDC, she gets a lead, someone asks a question, she's not too sure, she raises her hand, supervisor comes over, hey, what do you got, Jen? Oh, this guy's asking about something. And then if they don't know right away, then they're on the phone with the sales manager real quick, get the feedback, and then they're answering this guy in just a few seconds. Some key stats, all right? So first off, you should track your conversations, not just your leads. So your leads are one number, like I got 4,000 to 6,000 leads a month. But how many conversations do you have? And then from your conversations, you should be getting about 40% of those as a set appointment. And of the conversation should be a set appointment. And then from there,
The conversion to
you should have 60% kept appointment. And BDC team gets paid on kept appointments. So that's where their commission comes in, is the kept appointment. And then from kept appointments, it's in the 20% range for closing.
Sorry, 60% of the kept appointment and then 20% of conversion?
Yeah. Yes, Nasser. Yeah, your closing ratio should be around 20%, yeah.
From that 40% of the leads?
From 60 to 40 to 20, yeah.
Leads 40, 60, 20?
Yes.
And do you have, sorry, I continue.
No, go ahead.
Did you have which is the impact you had in CSI?
The impact on CSI?
Yeah, in sales.
Hard to judge.
Okay.
I mean, for our market, Vietnamese people typically never
answer.
Oh, I am the retailer and the importer, so.
Supplies all the contacts to the dealerships, to the salespeople in the dealerships.
Correct. So my BDC team, when they're conversating with the customer, they're determining what's the closest dealership.
I see.
Okay. So that BDC team is in Ho Chi Minh City, but they're responding to, you know, Triumph Hanoi's requests or Triumph Saigon's requests. Yes, sir.
So this BDC team is external agency or in-house?
It's in-house.
In-house.
It's in-house.
How much cost impact does it have on your entire manpower?
Well, for us, I mean, it's 7 staff, so I'm probably spending somewhere around $12,000 a month for those 7 people.
Sorry, in terms of percentage of your manpower expense, how much it is?
Oh, 3%, maybe 4%. Not much. John?
What's the CRM system you guys are using?
We use Bittrex 24, and the reason we chose Bittrex 24 is it's pretty low cost and was able to be set up how we needed it to be.
And that will allow the lead, once your BDM team, it will allow the
Yes. So every lead we get in, we don't put them right in the Bittrex. But once we start a conversation with them, then it goes in the Bittrex. Because to me, that's more of a real lead. Mm-hmm. Yes, Glenn?
Team of 7.
Yes.
Do they look after Harley, KTM? Or
Okay, so there are, each brand has their dedicated 2 specialists. All right, and then their schedule is split up from there. And then occasionally someone might cover for somebody, but primarily there's 2 girls working only on Triumph. There's 2 girls working on Harley, 2 on. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, Case.
Once the leads are passed on to the sales, is there any follow-up from the BDC for that lead?
Correct. Yes. Yes. And this is where the screen with how many times you got to call people back.
Yeah.
Okay, so once conversations are started, then they're moved into the CRM and then they're followed continuously. But after we reach a point where we're kind of, it's dead for the BDC, then those leads get kicked back to the sales department. Mm-hmm. And then the sales department starts following up with them again. And then on appointments, yes. BDC is following up that morning. Hey, you got an appointment at 12 o'clock. You're going to see VU. They even record what the dealership looks like. They record what it's like to walk through the door, and they record what VU looks like when what he's going to look like. So the customer gets a video. Here's where you're going. This is what it looks like. This is who you're looking for. And then every morning in the sales manager meeting, we have a board, and every every appointment is set on there, so we know exactly who to expect at what time.
And how would the BDC know that the appointment actually took place?
Okay, so through the sales manager, yeah. And then they're following up, hey, did the guy, because remember, BDC's getting commission if that guy shows up.
Yeah.
So they're on it. They want to know if he's there.
Yeah.
Also, to get commission, they have to come in a window. a 3-hour window. So if the appointment's set at noon, if they show up at 11 or show up to 1 o'clock, then they get the commission. If they show up the next day or a different day, they do not.
And typically, so the earnings of the commission and fixed, what's the relationship?
They make about 500 salary, and they make about 700 to 800 in commissions. So they're making more commission than salary. Anything else? All right. Thank you guys very much. If anyone wants to see how Looker Studio works later, at a break or something, I'll show you how ours works, but it's very trick. All right? Okay, thanks, Case.